The Chicago Bears continue to navigate one of the most fascinating developmental journeys the franchise has seen in years, and the heart of the discussion comes back to a simple but important question from fans. Is there something the coaching staff can do to help Caleb Williams start games better? It's a fair question, and the truth is, the slow starts are real. Over the last few weeks, the opening drives haven't looked sharp. The timing feels a little off, the rhythm isn't there yet, and the offense often needs a full quarter before it settles into any kind of comfort. But the solution doesn't have to be complicated. One of the simplest adjustments the staff can make is building quick, clean, straightforward throws into the opening script. Not gimmicky screens, not the little shuffle tosses, not manufactured touches, but true quick game from shotgun. Short hitches. Quick outs. Fast, on-time passes over the middle. Something that gets Caleb in the flow right away. This is a quarterback who thrives in film room precision and improvisation alike, but when he's forced into long under-center dropbacks with no play fake, especially those old-school 5 or 7-step drops, it doesn't maximize his strengths. Those are concepts teams barely use anymore unless tied to play action. Running that on the very first snap of a game is almost like starting on hard mode. If that same concept came from shotgun? Entirely different story. Caleb could diagnose faster, plant, and fire without the mechanical delay that comes from under-center footwork. This matters, because right now the Bears often open with deeper, 15 to 25-yard attempts right out of the gate, and while he connects on those later in the game, early moments are where rhythm needs to be built, not forced. And that leads us to something just as important: running the ball early to settle the quarterback down. The Browns were just gashed on the ground by Tony Pollard, and there's no need to come out firing haymakers when the simplest path to control is right there. A steady run game keeps a young quarterback calm, confident, and ahead of the chains instead of scrambling to create something out of nothing. Even with the slow starts, the improvement is visible. In the first half last week, he went 6 for 14. Second half? 13 for 21. That's a clear sign that the more he sees the field, the more comfortable he becomes. And here's something most fans didn't notice. His completion percentage was actually 75% when you factor out 2 drops and 7 intentional throwaways. Former quarterbacks have openly given him credit for this. Taking intentional throwaways to avoid sacks is a sign of maturity, not hesitation. You're choosing 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 20. That's growth. So how confident should Bears fans be in Caleb as the guy? On a scale from 1 to 100, the confidence meter still sits comfortably in the 80s. The flashes are real. The accuracy isn't perfect yet, but the talent is undeniable. Timing issues with receivers, route detail questions, and lingering injuries among his weapons are all part of the storyline. But when the second half rolls around, when the game tightens, when the Bears need a moment of sheer playmaking, Caleb consistently delivers. That's not luck. That's not random. That's a foundation. As the Bears approach the next stretch of the season and beyond, the organization faces a long list of decisions that could reshape the roster entirely. Fans have been asking nonstop, how many trades or moves are coming? And the truth is, the answer depends heavily on who the staff believes should be part of the long-term core. Some contracts are tough to move, but others sit right in the gray area, not obvious keepers, not obvious departures. Take DJ Moore, for example. His future must be addressed sooner rather than later. Then there's Montez Sweat, not an automatic decision to move on from, but still a player whose contract invites review if the Bears want flexibility. Jalen Johnson? His deal has structure, but the team could get out of it if they wanted to revisit the trade market. And then there are younger players like Jaquan Brisker. Tough, aggressive, emotional player. But has the development justified another contract, or is it smarter to reset? Meanwhile, there are veterans who could return on short-term value deals. Kevin Byard, for example, fits the mold of a stabilizing presence. C.J. Gardner-Johnson offers versatility, but comes with injury history. Kyler Gordon's durability has also become a recurring theme, and security behind him matters. These decisions pile up quickly, especially when factoring in future extensions and incoming draft capital. Another big question from fans this week was about rushing Jalen Johnson back into action. And the honest answer? When a player is medically cleared, he's cleared. The medical staff makes that call, not the player, not the coaches. If you're cleared, you're either available or you're not. And while players may feel discomfort or hesitation after returning from injury, the expectation remains. In big moments, effort must be unquestioned. That missed collision on Josh Jacobs' run wasn't about talent, it was about urgency. And urgency is non-negotiable. Now let's shift back to the offense for a moment, specifically Luther Burden. Fans are already asking whether he could become a better version of Jameson Williams. It's not a one-to-one comparison. Williams has true straight-line burner speed. Burden, meanwhile, plays with twitch, power, and physicality. He's thicker, harder to bring down, and already looks more versatile after the catch. Could he become a true No.1 receiver? Yes, that possibility is very much alive. Williams fits the mold of an elite number 2 who thrives with a possession receiver next to him. Burden has the frame, the style, and the upside to become a full-spectrum weapon. Speaking of steals, Chris Monangai has become one of the biggest surprises of the draft class. Seventh-rounders aren't supposed to come in and shake helmets loose like that. Physical, angry, relentless, he embodies everything this team wants its identity to be. That's the type of pick that sets a tone inside the building. Bears fans, if you want more breakdowns like this, more roster insight, more film-based quarterback analysis, and more behind-the-scenes explanations of what's really happening inside Hallis Hall, make sure you're subscribed. We drop fresh Bears videos year-round, game days, off-season, everything. Hit subscribe and stay plugged in. Let's move to one more interesting debate fans brought up, the future of the defensive backs. Who gets extended? Who stays? Who walks? At this point, long-term deals seem unlikely for most of them. Kevin Byard feels like a one-year-at-a-time player. Brisker, maybe a short deal, maybe no deal. Gardner Johnson, same situation. Jalen is under contract. Tariq Stevenson still has development ahead of him. That leaves one player who might be worthy of a multi-year look, Nate Wright, depending on how he finishes the year. Then there's the headline-level question every Bears fan loves to debate, Garrett or Crosby? Talent-wise, Myles Garrett is the answer. But contract-wise, team situation-wise, opportunity-wise, Max Crosby is the more realistic and far more available target. The Browns' cap situation makes moving Garrett nearly impossible. But Crosby? With the Vegas franchise sinking deeper into chaos, the door might open. And if it does, a player like him in Chicago would be a franchise-changing arrival. As the conversations continue, the biggest question surrounding the Bears still revolves around one man, Caleb Williams. Is he the long-term answer? Is he the quarterback you build a decade around? The accuracy concerns are legitimate, and they're frustrating in real time. But accuracy can improve. Timing can improve. Chemistry can improve. What cannot be taught is the pure playmaking gene, and Caleb has it at a level that very few quarterbacks possess. He makes throws on the move, off-platform, hips torqued, windows small, pressure closing, and he delivers footballs that most quarterbacks wouldn't even attempt. The throw to Devin DuVernay. The dart to Luther Burden. The scramble drills seed to Cole Kmet. Those are franchise-level throws. That's special. That's why patience matters. The coaching staff themselves admit the same thing. They are still working to merge the basics of the system with the explosive creativity Caleb brings. When those two worlds finally align, the structure and the chaos, he has a pathway to becoming a top-5 quarterback in the league. Not today, not tomorrow, but the path is real. As for the defense, evaluations continue. Jalen Johnson's return against Green Bay drew mixed reviews, and rightfully so. Effort must be unquestioned in critical moments. Coverage lapses happen, that's part of the league, but physicality and mental sharpness are expectations, not luxuries. The Bears need every leader on this unit to uphold that standard. Still, even with the ups and downs, the team remains competitive in the NFC North. The Bears, Packers, and Lions are all alive in the race. It's tight. It's gritty. It's unpredictable, and fans know anything can happen in December. So the final question comes back to the heart of the fanbase. Is the future bright? Absolutely. Is the team perfect? No. But the foundation, the quarterback, the emerging receivers, the defensive potential, the culture shift, is visible. And though the machine isn't firing on all cylinders yet, the pieces are lining up. This team is close. Closer than the record shows. Closer than the critics realize. Closer than the outside noise suggests. And when it finally clicks, when the slow starts fade, when the roster decisions settle, when Caleb and his playmakers find full rhythm, the Bears will not just be competitive, they will be dangerous. Bear down.